Paul here. It's certainly turned colder. You can certainly tell today is Guy Fawkes night. So heading off into Carlisle tonight for the fireworks for the first time. Right, this week's project. I've got this lovely piece of spalted beech here. Still a little bit wet, still about 14-15 degrees. Or should I say percent, as I always keep saying. Grain is a bit all over the place. The project I intend to do this time is some form of either a tub or a lidded box. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get this down to round, stick a tenon on at least one end, get it in the chuck, and then take it from there. I'll just see how things turn out. So let's get on with it. Right, okay, so we're in the chuck now. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just try and take another pass over this to smooth this up a little bit, see what it comes up like. And I will probably go for a lidded box. So I should turn a tenon on this end. Probably part this off about a third of the way. So it's going to be a fairly smallish box. Maybe a bit less than the third, quarter. And then work on the lid first. So let's get going. Right, so I've only just sanded this to 240, so I'm going to give it a couple of coats of sanding sealer and then the good old Yorkshire Grit as usual. So let's get some sanding sealer on here and see how this changes. sure I get it into all the corners. I'm just going to go around the edges as well. I've sanded the outside edge as well. Just so at least when I join it up, you've got something there to start with. But that grain is absolutely gorgeous. Right, so I've had 3 coats of sanding sealer on there. I did actually just level off this, well, just take me skew chisel to this rim inside here, just to smooth it out a bit more, and it's actually got a bit of a taper to it now, so that's not a problem. So Yorkshire Grit next. Around the outside edges as well, and most of those will get taken away. Right, let's put the tin out of the way and see what this comes up like. Right, so I've got the inside of the lid done, and that has come up really, really nice. I'm so pleased with that. Going to work on the base now. Try and get this the size for the inside here to fit the lid, and then hollow out the inside. Or to be honest, I should probably just do that to fit the lid first of all, and then finish the lid off. Right. Going to bring the tailstock up anyway, because I want to probably put a finial on there, so I'm not too bothered about that. The main thing is going to be the thickness here, how far I can go, and inside there is, I've got about 15-16 mil from the inside there. Sanded the lid up and it's not come up too bad, but before I finish this off totally, because I'm going to need to size the outside to this, and I guess things will happen really until I shape this properly. I can't really finish the lid off, so I'm gonna hollow out the centre now, and then at least that way I can finish the centre off, shape the outside, just take a bit off the top here because it just needs a little bit, because obviously my rim here is fairly shallow and I've got a fair bit here, and it's not such a bad thing because usually when I hollow out manually, always get a catch across the top, so I need to face the top off anyway. So I'm going to put a rough size on the inside there with the calipers as to where I want to hollow out. Down quite a way. It's actually right down to the line here. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but just on the edge of my fingernail there, so I am fairly close to the bottom. So parting off might be a bit of a problem when I come to it. I may well have to just turn this around and stick it in a jam chuck, and then shape the bottom. So, but on the sides here, I mean, you can don't know whether it shows in the camera there, there's an awful lot of tear out. So even though the lid is at that size, I'm going to probably have to take this down very slowly and then reshape the lid as well a bit on the outside edge. But I mean, as you can see, I've got quite a bit to play with on the lip there. Not too bothered. I don't want a tight fit. I do want a loose fit, purely and simply because I want to put a finial on there as well. So I do want it sort of just to sit on. Hopefully not to fall off, but not too tight. Well, I'm quite liking that actually. I think it's going to be one of those Marmite tubs. You either like it or you hate it. So that's I think I'm quite happy with that. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to sand the outside here. Because I mean, I've still got a fair bit of tear here. I might just go over the scraper or my skew, just to try and reduce that a bit. Sand it up, pop the lid on, make sure they marry up okay. Don't know where this grain is supposed to be, so it's just how much that grain changed, because I mean it was only out about here somewhere. Probably that I thought. So it's not going to entirely meet up. Right. Right, so the inside has now had a couple of coats of sanding sealer, Yorkshire Grit, and a couple of coats of Woodwax22. The outside I have given about 2 or 3 coats of sanding sealer. Now better give this a coat of Yorkshire Grit. So I've actually just brought the whole piece together as one. So hopefully it will all stay as one, lined up. And won't go out of shape. And look at that. Come up as smooth as anything. Right, I'm going to give this a couple of coats of Woodwax22 now, and I think then we'll turn to doing a finial. With all this waxing and everything as well, it's actually made the lid more of a slightly tighter fit, which I don't mind so much. So I'll come back to you in a few minutes. Right, because I didn't have much room to part off because of the jaws, I've just created a friction chuck, which is usually what I use for if I'm doing bowls, just so I can try and take most of this off. And it seems to be fairly true. It's a little bit out, but not too much. Okay, so for my finial, I've just grabbed one of my walnut pen blanks. So I'm just want something which is rather contradictory with the colours. So I thought hopefully this may be the best thing to do. So I'm going to true this off first of all. I could really do with a smaller tool rest for these sort of things, but we have to work with what I've got. Right, so that's had 2 coats of salmon sealer, Yorkshire Grit and a couple of coats of Woodwax22. It was only sanded to 240, and obviously the Yorkshire Grit, as usual, has brought that up as smooth as anything. So I'm just going to part this off now, and then we've just got to put it all together. Right, so the finished item. I don't know, it's more like a Marmite tub to me. You either love it or you hate it. And unfortunately I'm sitting right on the fence on this one. Spalted Beech. Done on a centrepiece with so much greying, and especially when you look inside, is, I don't know whether it will show it on the camera there, but there is just so much grey through the whole piece. It was actually quite easy to turn. The thing that I found this time was I went online and watched a couple of YouTube videos and on the hollowing out with the spindle gauge. Well, probably 3 or 4 videos to be honest. And I will say that one of the people I watched was Carl Jacobson, and a couple of different methods of doing it, but the main one was basically starting off in the centre and then drawing your way out. And I've got to say, not one catch for a change. Normally when I do something like that, I'd start from the top, work the way in, and I'd have 2 or 3 catches. I'm doing the whole thing. Couple of odd, very little rough bits inside. I mean, the whole wood is quite rough in the first place. It did take quite a lot of sanding down. Fits nicely. I've only just literally glued the finial on, so with some wood glue, so I won't actually pull on that at the moment. The grain doesn't massively meet up, which I suppose I'm not surprised with really, because even though I probably only took out 5 to 10 mil between where the grain is, I mean it's probably like that the grain should be, but because this is such a mismatch of grain all over the place, I think it's almost impossible to line up. Basically went probably too deep inside, so that by the time I wanted to part off I couldn't, had to reverse it around. I could have made a jam chuck, but decided to go for the compression chuck, and as you just see from the video, it's literally got towards the end and it just popped off. No damage whatsoever. Did manage to put it back on and just basically sand off the bottom and just take out the middle bit with a ordinary wood chisel. Wanted to go for something contrasting for the finial. I don't think the finial works too well when you look at it from the side like this, but when you take the lid on its own, especially like that, I don't know whether it shows up on the camera too well, I think the finial actually goes a treat with the colouring. But the side, there's just so much in here. I mean, it goes well with that side, but the grey and all this side spaltedness, I just don't think it works so well. I want to give a shout out this time. I've basically just started watching another YouTuber's channel, and it was him who probably just got me back onto the bowls. He created something called, or the tubs rather, he created something called a Pandora's box, I think it was called. And after spending probably the last couple of weeks literally just doing pens, it was just so nice to get back to doing something like this for a change. Person's channel it is, I mean, most of you probably already subscribed to him. Temple Boy Turner over in Ireland, Steve Twaddell. Apologies if I get your surname wrong, Steve. And he's been turning now for a couple of years, and I've started watching his channel right from the very beginning, which is where he'd been turning about a year, and some of the things he's turning just absolutely brilliant. A lot of his tools and stuff like that are fairly basic, some he's made himself, all sorts. And I mean, take a look, go and look at his Pandora's box. I mean, obviously it's nothing like this whatsoever, but it got me back into wanting to do another box again. He made a captive ring, which is something I've still not made yet, so I will probably have a go at one before long, and made all these different compartments. I mean, I did a box a while ago, fairly early on, where once you lifted the lid up there was another little compartment you could lift out, and he's done similar sort of things like that. Now, this being the Spalted Beech, I knew what was going to happen. I knew as soon as my daughter see this, she was going to say, "Oh, can I have that?" And lo and behold, I was just literally about to part the finial off. She wanders in, banging on the door, and she says, "Oh, can I have that?" So yeah, I know where that one's going already. It just seems that anything with spalted beech, she'll have whatever it is. So if this is your first time here, I usually do try and do videos, well, project videos once a week. Try and do something different most of the times. Obviously now we're doing 30 odd videos, it's getting harder and harder to come up with something new every time. So please do subscribe, and for my existing subscribers, thank you very, very much for keep coming back. And I would appreciate it if everybody could hit the like button, hit the share button, and certainly do below leave some comments. So like I say, I mean, not sure whether I like it or not. Again, watching Steve, I wanted to do something like with beads or something like that, and I just don't know whether it's worked out. I think basically if I'd have probably just come down more like an urn shape, it might have worked out a little bit better. But as per usual, I do something totally different to everybody. So thanks a lot for everybody watching, and I'll see you all on the next project video. Thanks a lot, bye.